Today on Chat Off the Mat, I welcome Ann Jonas, also known as the Love Messenger. She's passionate about helping and supporting others to become more of who they truly are. Ann's life journey has been that of the lotus with plenty of mud. As she found her ground and stability from the depths of life's challenges, she stood up to meet and accept her path. Ann's life purpose is helping and supporting others to become more of who they truly are, to raise their consciousness, and to remind them that they are a being of light and love. Welcome, Ann.
Yay. Thank you, Rose. Thank you for the opportunity. I love this concept of chat off the mat. You know, the idea is that so much of the work, like the work of life, is to attempt to achieve balance, right? But here I'm actually was in a conversation this morning where it's about harmony and synergy. In nature, there's no balance. There's no tit for tat, right? Everybody's doing the plants, the animals, they're all doing and being what's natural for their system. So I'm introducing myself by way of speaking into the collective energies, because in essence, that's so much of what I'm honoring. As the love messenger, what I desire most is that all beings know love. And that love is truly that inherent sense of being the self, the higher self, and in relationship with the divine, which then brings us back to that harmony and synergy. When we recognize that we're part of the collective, and this time that we're in, this powerful astrological evolutionary experience, I love this stuff. I live for the deconstruct. I live for the metamorphosis. I get so excited about what I call the big T, transformation. I love movies that bring transformation, and usually they're really cheesy, because that concept of being outside the box in our way of breathing, living, and witnessing, that's my greatest joy, to honor the now moment. I love saying this: when we're here now, flip that word, it's one, W-O-N, N-O-W-W-O-N. When we're here now, we've won. And then we're one, O-N-E, with everything. And that's such a important part of this time, where whether we're here in this month or this year, the idea is that we are here to remember that we're one with everything. And that is a huge aspect of what I am, what I be, what I offer, what my work is. And I've aligned with God in the realm of not the Judeo-Christian God, the God of love. The chapter, the title to my chapter in the book that I produced and curated, Sacred Connection, pointing at it back there with 6 other beautiful co-authors, is Love is Everything, exclamation point. We're talking about the love that's inherent in our breath, in our existence. And honestly, we can't experience love with another, human being or even an animal if we're not experiencing it within ourselves. And that's where this idea of remembering that we are love, we exist as love. It's our choice to see that. And that's a huge piece of this evolution that we are in the midst of, as things are, and they've been topsy-turvy. I'm a Gen Xer. I've been on the planet for 55 years. And, I think the Gen Xers have seen the most growth in the realm of technology. I mean, yes. we didn't even have an answering machine. That was an answering machine with a little
tape. We had one phone in the house.
Yeah. And one phone in the house that had like a 50-foot cord, right? Yeah. That moved all over the living room and, in the bedrooms. And it's a powerful opportunity to remember that we are here to grow and evolve. That's the whole experience of incarnation
So
on
how
the
do you
large.
so how
Go
do you
ahead.
help people? No, I was going to say, so how do you help people to grow and love and to return to that love of self, being the love messenger, or with the work that you do?
As transformational guidance, that is a title I've given myself, and the container of sacred connection, which is the book became a result of what was started out as a 9-week webinar. And that is where we dance in this concept of sacred connection, which is connection to self and the divine. What I offer in whatever platform, whether it be my writing, my portal energy perspective guidance, my intuitive work, my channeling, is listening for what feels like it's missing. And as we remove the layers of what we know and we get curious and we feel, our human culture, especially in our modern civilized Western world, wherever on the planet that exists, is about learning and education and what we know. We don't know anything. All we're doing is taking in information and then somehow taking ownership of it and then wearing it as a reflection. When we allow ourselves to not know anything and to be, again, in the now moment, to witness how we are moving, how we are responding, we actually take the pressure off. We take the pressure off. And then we get to feel what feels aligned, what feels out of alignment, what feels harmonious, what feels uncomfortable. As the lotus path, I know there is no lotus without mud. There isn't. Allowing ourselves to be in the mud. So when we fight the mud, we're in quicksand, right? Fighting the mud, it drops
Sinks
us
us.
down. Yep.
Yep.
But the other piece of this is to trust the mud, love the mud. Don't judge the mud. The mud is a consequence. And I say that word in a neutral way because consequence is only the reaction to an experience. There are full consequences. We can say that, a beautiful consequence. We don't need to say that. It's a consequence without judgment. It's neutral. Everything we do has a response. I love this concept, and I first heard it from Jack Canfield. E plus R equals O. Have you heard that before, Rose?
No. Can you elaborate on that?
I definitely will. So here's the thing. E, what's E? E are the events and the experiences in our life. Okay, that's the E. Then you've got a plus because this is an equation. R, the responses or reactions, and an equal sign, O, the outcome. So when we look at this equation, the event, the experience, it's gone. It's not here anymore. It's in the past. It could be yesterday. It could be last year. It could be when you were a child. How you feel about it, how you've navigated with it, how you've been with it, right? That's your response. It's your reaction to it. There are two basic choices: victor, victim, empowered, disempowered. Those then are stories. That's the outcome. It doesn't matter what happened. What matters is how you feel about it, how you've moved through it. how you've allowed it, how you have chosen to have it inform your life. And that essentially brings us to another aspect of this spiritual journey. You chose this life. You chose your parents. You chose where you wanted to be born. You chose were you tapping into poverty or wealth and everything else, color, the whole business, right? Those choices were made by your higher self, your soul, your consciousness, your spirit, whatever word you'd like to use, as a reflection of the experience of the divine. Again, the word isn't important. It can be God, goddess, mystery, universe, energy, love, all of it. We are in a co-collaborative, co-creative universe. Therefore, every choice you make has these repercussions, ripples, if you will. And we, all of us, are rippled, blah, right? We are like rolled around by everybody else's choices.
Yeah. Very vibrational.
Exactly. It's all vibration. It's all vibration. It's all frequency. It's all energy.
Yep.
It's what we plug into. It's what we tap into. I mean, literally, we have a bazillion ways to get, and I'm going to air quote, news. What is news, and who is offering it, and what is their perspective? So what are you tapping into? Where are you getting your energetic, vibrational frequency of information, right? It's all information. From the aspect of computers, for computer people, ones and zeros, they say, ones and zeros. It's all that. It's all sacred geometry. It's all sacred geometry. It's frequency, the hertz, the solfeggio scale, all of this
Schumann resonance.
Exactly. It's universal consciousness that we have full access to. It's a matter of, what are we looking at? We have this concept, we say, out of sight, out of mind. That's what we say. If you don't see it, you're not going to think about it.
Wow.
But what if we shifted it to out of mind, out of sight? So if we can't conceive of it, we won't even see it. If it doesn't make sense to us, we're not going to see it in the world. And that's where our viewpoints, that's where a lot of conflict happens. That's where our viewpoints become centered on how we are understanding the world that we know. Again, understanding, know, like we are tapped into what the mind has allowed us to accept and understand.
Right. And there's a lot of information, and it's really about it's about attaching to what we attach to is what really is highlighted, right? So Buddha talks about attachment as the yogic philosophy. We don't want to attach to something because that's what pulls us in that direction. We need to be more neutral and to be discerning. So all that information that is out there, there's a lot. And you need to kind of, like you said, step back and disengage.
And feel. I mean, this is
in the body. Feel it.
Exactly. I mean, our bodies are so capable of absorbing what's in the field without our consciousness. We don't really want to think about like how we breathe and how our heart beats and how we digest and how we move muscles. We don't want to think about that. That's what our brain is designed for. Our brain is here to make sure that all the things are functioning. What we get to do as the whole being is then witness. How do you feel? And for many of us, our feelings have been cut off, right? Our feelings aren't valid. Don't sweat the small stuff. Yes, sweat it all. Sweat it all. You know that story of the princess and the pea? What is it? 25 mattresses and she feels a
Yeah.
pea? Okay. Like we're putting little peas all over our body.
I sweat the small stuff. And my husband always says, don't sweat the small stuff. I know, but the small stuff, so somebody's got to sweat the small stuff.
Well, if we don't sweat the small stuff, all the small stuff gathers together.
Yes. And it
I
becomes
mean,
bigger.
in the realm of dis-ease, and I say that word very specifically, dis with a dash ease. Okay. Dis-ease is out of harmony. It's out
Yeah.
of ease. And dis-ease is the body's way of finding its own resonance. I mean, the concept of cancer cells are there alone. They want friends.
Mm-hmm.
They bring friends to come hang out. And then what do we get? We get a tumor. This is a real reactionary experience of our evolutionary bodies. Now we're all going to die. So that, how we die is
Right.
we don't know that, but that's that place too, life and death, right? They're one and the same as we're talking about.
Yeah.
So being willing to look at through what we are allowing in is how we find more clarity.
Uh, and one of the things I see here that you talk about is the concept of 3D and 5D.
For those of you that have no concept, 3D, 5D, what are we talking about? We're talking about movies here. We're talking about, geometry. The third dimension is our planet, Earth. We are in the third dimension. One dimensional things are essentially flat. And then you have two-dimensional things that, have height and width. The third dimension is all of this experience. It's our planet's vibrational energy. It's about how much of our universal light is held in these containers of humanness, as well as the plants and the animals and the earth herself. We are all contained in the third dimension. It references then our perspective, and that keeps us in a container of this earth school, essentially. This is a container. We already spoke to choosing our family, choosing our tribe, choosing the human form that we desire to be in on this planet. What we're looking at here is that there are multi-dimensional levels, layers, timelines in this universe. The two that we work with, for simplicity's sake, third dimensional, fifth dimensional. Well, where's the four? The four is a bridge. The fourth dimension is the acknowledgement, the awareness that there is something more than what we consider to be matter. Earth is based in matter. It's based in this concrete ability to exist. When we move beyond the excuse me, when we move beyond the 3D, we are essentially allowing expansion. Let's also talk about some more human concepts. 3D is about duality, okay? It's about polarity. Our Earth has two poles, north and south. Our Earth has night and day. It has sun and moon. These are all relevant to the learning that is received while in this container of Earth School. Many of you know about the movie The Matrix. Well, It's not a movie, it's reality. And the people that made that movie are super tapped in. That's how I see it. The brothers that became sisters. I don't know if you know that story.
You wonder where the information comes from, right? Somebody's knows it and lives it.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. We all have access to it. It's not just filmmakers. It's not people that talk on podcasts. It is available to all of us. And that is the place that we experience when we go into silence. This is a powerful one. Listen and silent. They have the same letters. Here's another one. Creation and reaction. Same letters. They are intricately connected. To listen, we must be silent. To have creation, we are in a reaction. When we honor that our power is always within us and we don't have to force it, power versus force, our power is inherent in our existence. All of this is informing how do we understand this 3D matrix, right? This 3D concept. It's serving. It serves us to understand our evolutionary journey. And inherently, it has this concept of the but, B-U-T, right? The idea of it can't be this. It has to be this or that.
Right.
It has a lot of, the third dimensional experience is a lot about exclusivity, separation, difference, opposition. I mean, look around our world. That's everything that we navigate. It's inherent. When we step into, when we open to, when we allow surrender, we talked about attachment. When we release attachment, then we stand in oneness, inclusivity, and A-N-D, that word instead of but. It's all about recognizing that we are expansive. We are greater than what this human form and what this the matter that's all around us, our tables, our computers, our cars, our homes. I mean, truly, even the earth itself. The facets of what have built the container that's our home, we need to be in relationship with the cycles and the seasons, these astrological things that maybe we don't understand. They are a part of how we're holding our evolutionary experience. Again, it's this piece of choice and reflection. As we choose, as we witness, we are mirroring constantly. We are reflecting how we feel and how we be to the world around us. And we're seeing ourselves through the world around us. This is a fun thing to talk about. You are a product of the 5 people closest to you. When you look at the 5 people closest to you, you're going to see yourself.
Yeah, you're right. I know that because yes, from doing all the work. Yes,
Yeah.
this is what I observe.
Yeah. And
that's why I fight less with them.
Yes,
Now,
exactly. Because you're also fighting less with yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm more at peace because I know not to fight because I see myself in that reaction or that way a person is. And I'm like, okay, that's me. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that might not feel so good to you right now for somebody who's listening and they're like, oh, wow, I don't really, oh my goodness. Okay. Well, here's what you have the opportunity to do now is now go to the mirror, go to the physical mirror, take a look at how you're responding to things. Are you taking things personally? Are you making assumptions? This is the Four Agreements, Don Miguel Ruiz,
Mm-hmm.
love the Four Agreements. They are foundational, actually, is how
Yep.
I see it. When we are willing to be sovereign, did you hear that? When we are willing to be sovereign, that means that we are making choices for ourselves. That's a fifth dimensional concept. We're not stuck in the life that the lot that's been handed out to us. Everything is a choice. And that's where the layers of dimensions create expansion, awareness. We can't even fathom as a human, really, of what's available. How do you navigate that? Well, witness what is in your world, how you see your world, and how you respond to your world. That will bring a sense of power that you are choosing this life. And I know that may sound yucky to you if it doesn't feel good, but if you're here, that means you desire to expand, to grow, to transform. Okay, butterflies. That is not an easy journey, people. Like that little caterpillar goes and puts itself in a container and then turns to goo, like
You know,
mush.
it's so strange. Last night before I went to bed, I don't know why I was thinking about a butterfly and its transformational journey, and I was like, wow, and then you talk about it, so it's like, yes,
Yeah,
it's not easy. And for those people out there who have been doing the work and the journey, keep doing it, keep working, and keep noticing, and yeah,
because it's
it's
not
all worth
done.
it. It's not done,
Yeah,
and it's
it's
worth
not
it.
done.
It may
Yes.
be it may be tiring, and it
Oh,
may,
it's
but it's exciting.
exhausting.
But
It's
it's
exhausting.
exciting.
We
It's
could go
exciting.
there. It's
It's
exhausting and
exhausting.
exciting. They're both
Yeah.
E words, right? And they
Yes.
both have an X in them. I mean,
Yes.
this is the thing. The language that we have access to, spelling, spell, spell, like witchcraft,
Yeah.
magic.
Yes.
We are spelling our lives through how we are speaking about our lives.
Yep. We're spellcasters instead of podcasters.
Exactly. I love it.
I do
Yeah.
too. I love that. I love I love how you're using language. And one of the things I always encourage people is that, when you say a word, think about what the opposite is. We talked about polarity, but think about the opposite. Don't always just worry about the, not just I'm talking about negative terms, negative reactions, negative feelings. Think about what the opposite is. Don't just feel into that one side, feel into the other, and even both sides. Even if if you're way too happy, understand what it's like just to be not so happy, so that you can respond to people who are in your life that may not be as content as you are, so that you have a little bit more compassion. But there's just, we can keep talking about this, but yes, I love the way you use
Perspective.
language.
What you're bringing up is perspective,
Yeah.
the idea again that what you know to be true is not what somebody else knows to be true. And it doesn't make anybody wrong. Let's look at the concept of choosing a challenging life story. There's going to be an opposite growth edge. Okay. So let's pick adoption as an example. Why would you choose to be born and then given up, abandoned? Your desire was true self-love. So much so that you were literally tossed aside. You started the journey with your intention first and foremost. And then it takes your life choices, your life experiences to gather the information that says, I'm fabulous as me. I didn't need the parents that birthed me. I received my journey through the opportunities that came into my world to strengthen, to chip away. You know, the sculptures start as a block, right? They don't come from the bottom. I mean, yes, we can put stuff on a wheel and we can build it that way, but we chip away what's not necessary for the end result. So we come in as a block and we chip away through this life, how we witness the world respond to us. And that's not just people. That's how do we respond to time? How do we respond to the weather? How do we respond to what we might consider life upsets, car accidents, appliances breaking down? I mean, you name it. Life is full of opportunities to respond and choose to say, what am I going to learn from this? Earth school, friends, Earth school. That means everything is a teacher.
Yeah. I encourage, I know in my life I've had challenges, but I've always tried to find, I guess, the silver lining or what I'm grateful for, because they've all taught me something and they've led me to where I am today. And I'm happy in whatever shape, whatever dimension I'm in right now. I'm content. I'm happy. And, it took work to get here. I had to chip away a lot, and it takes time to chip away. You get that little chisel, you just keep going. So, but you are a person that helps people to chip away at those things by working with by individual. How do you circling back to that? How do you work with people? What do you offer as your offerings in your sacred space? And tell us how you do that and how people can find you in your offerings.
Our lives are filled with information. And as transformational guidance, I look for the information and I ask questions. I get curious. I unpack. I reveal what's not being spoken as I listen. And I do that through essentially a model of guidance or coaching, which is done here in this beautiful container. I love these boxes. And because we have access, I mean, COVID was a gift to our planet, friends. It really was. It brought us back to being human beings again, not human doings. It expanded our reach globally. And for a lot of people, it brought clarity around the density. Our choices and our allowing is what brings us our greatness, witnessing ourselves. Sacred connection is a container that the divine brought to me when I was at one of the lowest points in my life. And everything felt like it had fallen apart, that I had nothing to look at. And I asked for one thing. I said, okay, God, guides, whatever, come give me a message tonight when I go to bed. That'll be easy. Well, I got nothing that first night. And I figured, I'll try again. Take two. I was woken up almost violently with information and words. And I sat in bed and I thumbed out a lot. It was a download. Yeah. And it was essentially what came through was an email that I wrote speaking to how we are all segregated by our parts, all of our parts, whether you look at the human condition parts or the previous life parts, we're segregated. And then I was given this offering of Sacred Connection, a 9-week webinar. I have done 8 rounds now since October of 22. We start round 9 on January 16th. The lotuspath.love, that's who I am. No mud, no lotus. That's Thich Nhat Hanh. The lotuspath.love is where you will find everything that I offer. Transformational guidance, intuitive body work, sacred connection. There's a sacred connection community membership that is filled with previous recordings of the Sacred Connection webinar, love light chats, channeled guided journeys and meditations. And that is a place to be a part of community that sees this potency of life, community that recognizes that we are here to be in relationship with self and the divine. And those are all the ways that you get to play with me. And it is my absolute joy to connect with other light-minded, L-I-G-H-T, light-minded beings that recognize we are here to learn and grow, to evolve, to feel, to love.
I'm sure that you'll be doing even much more work on the fifth dimension level. So thank you.
And beyond, to
and
infinity
beyond.
and beyond, as Buzz Lightyear likes to say. So I bring in all of what is available and I dance. Let's dance together. It's my greatest joy.